Hello fairy finders and fairy seekers, welcome to FaerieQuest and today's video of top 10 strangest fairies caught on camera in the woods. As always, these are real photos of real fairies that I have taken myself that really stood out as strange, and I had to share them with you. Don't forget to hit that like button or subscribe and join the FaerieQuest family if you haven't already. And if you really like this video, consider buying me a cup of coffee, using the link in the description box below. All right, let's check out the top 10 strangest fairies caught on camera in the woods. We're going back in time to June 5th, 2016, and we're on the Mystic Trail, otherwise known as Heart of Iowa Trail in Rhodes, Iowa. I call it the Mystic Trail because I have photographed so many absolutely phenomenal fairies here. This is photo number 1057, and in this there are 3 really amazing fairies. But the one that is circled is number 1 of the top 10 strangest fairies caught on camera in the woods. Let's get a little more up close and personal, shall we? As you can see here, we have a little fairy that is almost fluorescent, and I have lightened it up here for you a little bit in this cropped photo to allow you to see it better, but it is a very vibrant green in comparison to the green around it. Also, what caught me were the googly eyes that it has right in the front. And the more I looked at this strange little creature being, the more I thought with the dangling of bits of him or her, I think it might be a kind of spider. But it isn't your ordinary sized spider. If you go back and you look at the picture previous to this, the previous frame, you will see that if it is a spider, it's a good size spider fairy. Let me know what you think in the comments. For number 2, we are still on the Mystic Trail on the same day, June 5th, 2016. But we have advanced forward to photo number 1070, and as you can see, it's a wooded area, quite thick in the green, so it has really grown up a lot since winter already. And in the circle, there is a being that I can only describe as alien. Let's take a look. Now this fairy could be one that comes right out of a sci-fi movie. You can see that he's covered over with a kind of cloak. It's outlined in the light around him, and he has a very elongated, pointed face, pointed ears, rather skeletal dark eyes or hollowed out eyes, and he is definitely, at least in my mind, not of this dimension. He is also a lot larger than the fairies that I normally photograph. And if you're having problems seeing the features that I'm talking about, start at the arrow at the top. That will always be the top of the head, and follow it down. The ears are sticking out over the cloak, and you can tell that they're pointed, and you can find the eyes, the nose, and the very, very pointed chin where the mouth is. I don't think I was in error putting him in this top 10 strangest fairies video. Let me know what you think of him in the comments below. Number 3 is again on the Mystic Trail. It is the last Mystic Trail photo in this video. We've fast forwarded to October 17th, 2016, so the foliage is thick, but obviously changing color now. This is photo number 2163, and in the circle you can see something that appears to be lying down. This is why the photos need to be gone through so carefully, because this was something that I never expected. Let's check it out. What we have here is an elf, I believe, but it is a very large elf. And if you go back to the previous frame where he's circled, you'll see actually how large he is in comparison to his surroundings. And he is laying flat out. We can't see feet or legs. We see his head. So we have an eye, a nose, a mouth, a hat. He has like a black bow tie. We can see some of his belly, and that's about it. And he is another one that is much larger than most elves that I photograph. So he was a strange one for me. Let me know what you think. For number 4, we're moving forward in time to Ledges State Park. It's June 30th, 2017, and this is photo number 4383. I feel like this is one of the fairies that is viewing through a piece of our nature. So in other words, they're still in their dimension and they're coming through to take a look around at what is going on where they would like to enter into. I have no other explanation for this because it has all the elements of a human face. Let's look at it a little bit bigger. So looking at it larger, we can see that it is a leaf and that it has an eye with an eyeball, a nose, and it has lips as well, which is what makes me believe that it is a fairy or someone from another dimension coming through this leaf, using it as a portal viewpoint to see what's going on, whether it is safe to enter our dimension or not. But it's a phenomenal photograph. There are those who will argue that it's pareidolia. There are those who will argue that it's Photoshop, but you can put these photographs through any test that you want, and you're going to find absolutely nothing that I have done other than crop the image as I see it from the original photograph so that you can see it. And sometimes we just have to admit that some things are just not explainable, or at least not easily explainable. Number 5 brings us to Three Bridges Park on July 1st, 2017. This is photo number 4505. And in the circle, you can see probably just sand in this photograph. However, there is a lot more to this little strange being than meets the eye in this picture. Now that you can see it closer, this little being, I believe, came out of the water as I was taking the photograph. It has eyes, a nose, and a body, but its body is not with legs. And we would never see this with the naked eye. Chances are, if we walked to the water's edge, we would squish it under our shoe, and it would just mush into the sand and be perfectly fine, more than likely, because it looks as though it has created itself from sand. But it was a very unique little being, one of the strange ones that I've come across in taking photographs. Number 6 brings us to the Mousehole Trail. It's called the Mousehole Trail by me because it was a trail that was very close to an old railroad bridge that looked like a mouse hole that cars could drive through from either direction. We are here on August 1st, 2017. This is photo number 4870. And you can probably see there's something in the circle, something white, kind of sectioned off, but that's about it. So let's really take a look at this strange photo. At first glance, you might actually think this is a part of that tree. However, look closer. Look at where the feet would be. At the ground level is kind of fading away, and the light goes up the body. If you look where the red arrow is pointed, there's a little hat there, a little triangle-shaped hat. Underneath of that is hair and a face in profile, then the shirt, and then the light kind of gets separated by a piece of the branch on the tree. and continues on down to the ground. This is, the only thing that I can call it perhaps, is a nature spirit. Someone who has come forth to aid the tree somehow. That's just a guess, but it is a very strange photograph and a very unusual capture. Let me know what you think on this one. Number 7 brings us to French Grove Park, which is a little roadside park in St. Anthony, Iowa, and you might not even notice it if you are not familiar with the area. This is August 19th, 2017, photo number 5190. And here we have something that is almost impossible to see in the circle. However, it's important for you to take note of the shapes of the leaves and the logs, that kind of thing, around and in this circle, so that you know that the next picture you look at is from this circle. Let's head over there. For this one, you are going to have to start at the red arrow, which is the top of the head. It comes down kind of in a cone shape and ends up a bit like a raindrop. At the bottom of this raindrop, we can see 2 eyes or eyelids. The eyes are closed, the nose and the mouth. A bit of the left side of the face as we look at this little fairy is covered up by a leaf, but we can still tell there's a nose and a mouth there. The body, we can see 1 arm, a torso, and 2 legs. The body is physical, whereas the raindrop head appears to be semi-transparent. So I don't know if this little fairy was on its way out, on its way in, or doing its best to try to hide itself from me as I took the photograph. No matter how you look at it, it's a very unique little being and definitely deserves its spot in the top 10 strangest fairies caught on camera. Number 8 brings us to the Mousehole Trail on August 5th, 2018. This is photo number 5896. And as you can see in the circle, there's something between 2 trees. These trees are very close together, or at least they appear that way, but let's see what's actually between those trees in that circle. I'm going to give you my impression of this little being on the screen here, and I hope that you will do the same for me in the comments below. At first, I thought it might be a bat, but as you look closer at this being, it's furry. And yes, bats have some fur, but this is a little more fur than a bat would have, I believe. And it has kind of bulging eyes and a part down the middle of its hair on the top of its head where the arrow is pointing. I can also see the shape of the body appears to be more ape-like. My thinking is that this is a miniature, very, very miniature type of gorilla or ape, and that it is in between these 2 trees, but I'm not sure what it's actually holding on to. The knob coming out of the tree on the right, that dark knob, that is not part of this creature. We can see its head, its eyes, its nose, and the left side of the body as we're looking at it, possibly a foot down at the bottom. That's what I see. But it's a strange one that I really don't have a name for other than ape-like. Number 9 brings us to the Natural Bridge in Clinton, Arkansas, somewhere around March 10th through the 12th of 2019. This was an amazing place we happened to come across as we were heading back towards Iowa and decided to check it out. We took the turn that we were told to take, and thank goodness we had good brakes, because to get to this natural bridge is an extremely curvy road that's almost like straight down. you just kept going down, 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 down at a very, very steep angle. Then suddenly it flattened out into a parking lot, and that is all that is there, is this natural bridge, a trail. So this is part of that natural bridge. And as we can see, there's a circle, white circle on the screen, as there has been on all of them, by a rather large round rock. So let's take a look at what is actually by that rock. Well, this one is kind of the stuff of nightmares. If you can see a witch or wizard in a hooded cloak with a wicked face, and its hand is on the small rock in front, at least one of them, the other one is kind of tucked underneath. It looks like it is staring at something, hiding by this rock, staring at something, ready to sneak up on it or spying on it or something like that. And we can see the eyes, the hooked nose, and the very pointed chin, somewhat like you would see a wicked witch on a movie, all in black. Very creepy, very, very strange. Let me know what you think of this one. Number 10 leads us to Ball Cemetery, which is a bit of a distance from Rhodes, Iowa. We're here on August 3rd, 2019, and this is photo number 6713. Ball Cemetery is surrounded by wooded area. So that's what you're seeing here on the screen. And I have something on the tree for you to see that's encircled in white. Bet it's not what you think. I kind of feel like it's Halloween between the witch that was number 9 and this number 10 that resembles a cat in a tree. And I don't mean up in a tree, I mean in the tree. As you can see on the screen here, we have the face coming out of the tree, and we see the eyeballs, the nose, the mouth, and we can even see a paw coming down on the left-hand side. That's what the lighted bits on the tree trunk below the head are, is that paw. Now this is obviously something I did not see with the naked eye, but you got to admit, it deserves to have its place in the top 10 strangest fairies caught on camera in the woods. This one definitely takes the cake.